Hello, everyone. Charles here, coming back with a little late news coverage, but maybe I should call it news because, we're not just looking at news, but rather just reviewing the units and the updates. Let's just call it an update review. And joining me this week again is Sinzar, so please say hello.
What's up again, guys? Here to talk about the excited units that I'm not pulling for, but I'm glad to talk about them.
Well, I mean, there's one unit you can't even pull for even if you tried, so, it's not on
True,
you.
true.
And I can't really fault you for not wanting Mr. Old Man here. He's not everyone's favorite, but I thought, FF10, it's a perfect game to bring you back in.
Mm-hmm.
So we have storyteller or leader of the story, Auron, and Braska's final Aeon, who are both NV plus. Obviously, I don't think there's any single NVs that are being released anymore. And Braska's final Aeon is another SBB unit, like Emperor, like what's his name, Vayne, Cloud of Darkness, and Kefka. So joining the lineup, but he is a little different than the others. We're just gonna see that in a couple of minutes. And also, oh yeah, not to forget mentioning NV plus A, so an awakening for Black Flame Hio, who is getting the usual evoker upgrade, but we'll talk about that later. So let's start with Auron here. So our friend Auron is a physical attacker for fire, ice, and water. He is a leader for Final Fantasy X, and also has the Guardians category as everyone in FF10. And he also has this new category they added for him, the Sword Masters. No leader yet, no really coverage there, but what are your thoughts about adding new categories at this point still?
I feel like the new categories, when they make sense, they're kind of cool. Like, the Guardian category was a stretch, I feel like, but lately the categories they're adding, like Battlefield Maidens or the Flowers of the Battlefield, like Global calls it, or Swords Masters, like these categories feel totally pointless because they're so broad and they're just almost meaningless. It just feels like specifically a way to pigeonhole more units into a way to sell a leader skill, and that's like the real reason they do it. But they just don't make sense really. Like the bringers of chaos, those kind of categories, they felt like it was meaningful. It was small enough that the distinctions matter. But like Swords Master, so 80% of the Final Fantasy units in the game, great. What was the point of this category again?
Who knows? And yeah, exactly. Like we can, if I can just click on it real quick and see who's in there. I didn't really look, but like it is pretty wide. There is a lot of people in there. Like feel free to pause and look at who's in there. But like it's basically the entire roster of the game. Anyone who can wield a sword is in there. Like Gilgamesh, Jill. Well, obviously Jill. Who's Jack? Who's Jack?
The Type
Oh,
Zero.
oh my God. Okay, so yeah, they really went all out with with putting everyone in there. All right. Anyway, so a new category again to as you said, separate unit too much and sell you leader skills.
And it's also just to point out, it's just goofy too because they don't even put the right units in. Like, where's Vaughn? Like, are they considering Vaughn, I guess, a gun user or something? Because I'm pretty
Um,
sure he starts off with a sword by default as his starting weapon in the game.
you
And
are right.
I personally always gave him, the Masamune katana. But like, why is Vaughn not in there? That's just the one I was, popped out immediately to my head. But I'm sure there's like, is Cecil in there,
Let's see.
etc. I didn't actually check, but like, is he?
Cecil's there.
Oh, he's
Uh,
there. Okay, so Vaughn is the one that I just noticed like he's missing. Just
yeah,
makes no
Vaughn's not
sense.
there. But Vaughn in FFBE has been using fists. Well, his last unit wasn't he using fists?
His STMR was, so I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
So I think that's why. But yeah, it's a bit specific, sorry, and I don't think they should be adding any more new categories anymore, and especially since they've abandoned a lot of them, like Blood of Hess for Lastwell and Yish. Who else is in there? not really anything. There's no support for it. The bonds category for all the summer units and the special units like this, absolute trash category. Like, why is it still there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Anyway, so back to our old man, and spoiler alert, old dead man. Uh, sorry, unsent. I didn't mean to call him dead. His TMR, actually not bad, honestly. Like 50% LB damage with a 100% true dual, not dual wield, my god, true double hand. That's actually pretty nice. Sometimes you just want to have some extra LB damage and you don't have it, and you need that and not lose it. So I'm actually happy it's there. Like, no need to go and get 1,000 copies, but it's always good to have it in your back pocket. And then the STMR, once again, just a weapon. Two-handed katana, 238, so it's very standard there. He does have 100% fairy killer on it. That's pretty nice. And yep, counter chance, which is also pretty rare. So kind of interesting, especially if you're doing counter builds. But I don't think you're going to build your RN for counter build. Anyway, then his vision card, pretty standard once again for the units. Nothing you're really gonna rave about or really want. His EX ability is a 500 flat attack for Guardians category. Even though he's not the leader for it, he is giving an ability for it, so that's pretty nice. Also, since that category has been rising a lot with Tidus and Tifa lately, with the leader skill and the overdrive, so they pair up really, really well. Now, if we go on to the kit, well, he doesn't have anything really special here except his main element being fire. He does have some resistance to it. He can only equip katana, so it's kind of limited, but once again, you're going to use this as TMR anyway. He will unlock his 150% amp at level EX1, the 500% at EX2. So once again, pretty standard. No real team coverage there, as we've seen with other units. He's got, once again, very standard at 120. At this point, just include it in the LB. Why keep an ability for that? I know,
frustrating.
yeah, I know you hate that, and honestly, same, because you need to keep rotating it all the time. But I guess it's their way of restricting units a little bit.
And the same thing with the stupid 5-turn modifier, like from the original Titus STMR, that now every single unit is built in. That is so irrelevant and not irrelevant what it does, but it's so pointless as a mechanic. And it just handicaps every physical unit in the game on any fight that goes beyond turn 5. It's so stupid.
Well, they literally made this just to limit your teams and what you could do in dark visions. That's literally the only reason. But then your units can't really be as useful, say for a trial, for example, because of that. So that's the problematic part for me, especially with the newer trials they've been releasing, like the the True Abrasive Water trial.
And just the series boss battle as it is, from the screenshots I'm seeing in Discord, people are taking 10, 15, 20 turns to kill this. As soon as you get to turn 6, your brand new orange just took a damage hit.
You're right. Daddy be thick right now. We're going to talk about him a little later, but Braska's final Aeon, actually pretty tough to kill. So let's see what Arn here brings to the table for the fight. He does have the regular chaining, so AMOE 450, BS 350. His other non-elemental chaining ability here with a modifier buff can be a 8800 times, which is about no, that's not on par with his LB. Sorry, it's when he gets EX2. If I go a little lower, at EX2 he gets a modifier buff for it, bring it to 9900, which is exactly on par with his LB. So once he's EX2, you might as well just use this instead of his SLB. It's going to be just as strong. This. And it's one move AMOE chaining, whereas his LB is just 5 hits. It doesn't change. It doesn't chain. So actually kind of useful. Oh, but it's a 4-turn cooldown. Never mind. there had to be a downside.
You got
Um,
to bring Roka to fix that.
yeah, Roka's is everyone's best friend now. Too bad that she's not really great as a unit otherwise. Like, sorry, too bad that Earth isn't a good element to bring to support anyway. And then he has a perfect dispel on demand, very very nice. Just one enemy, but who cares? And he could inflict stop, so that's never going to happen. He's got a fire, ice, and water self imbue with just a 30% amp, as opposed to say Cloud, who had 50. But we're not here to compare him to Cloud anyway. Like, it's just that Cloud has set, he set the bar for all the units, and we're kind of comparing all the units to him after, or I am anyway. He does have 160 Beast and Reaper Killer AoE, which is pretty nice because it is covering the current Dark Vision's Abyss. Um, what are your thoughts on this, though, Sinzar? Like, that they would always, tailor make the units for the current Dark Visions or the current Abyss. Like, is that nice, or do you think like they should make something more all rounder?
um, I think that tuning the unit's kits like that with like killer buffs and all based on the latest Dark Vision or Dark Vision, I think that is fine, honestly, because that's not like a unique thing. Like you have to have this or else, because you can get that elsewhere, which is fine. So I think it's totally acceptable and actually good that the units are tailored towards it in ways that you do have alternatives to. If, for example, he had like to use a global comparison, like the Kaito debuff reduction,
Yeah,
and only Arin had that, and you needed it for the best score in Dark Vision's Abyss, I would say that is just BS. But this you can get elsewhere. It's better to get it on Arin, and that I think is totally good. It's great design to have it that way. Like he's the best, but not the only, which is how it should be.
got it. Yeah, I do like that they give that to a DPS unit, especially since mostly the big killers were reserved to the special supports. So giving them to DPS is nice, but like it's just always selling the solution right for what you need at the current time. I don't know.
Well, at the same time too, though, it's actually not the best. The best would be
It's true.
I think Rosa is the 250 that can do it on 4 targets.
Yeah.
And if my math is correct, I do believe that's better than bringing like a fifth DPS. Depending on, I guess it depends on the party, but I do believe the extra 90% on 4 units is better than an extra like fifth tier DPS, unless
Mm,
all 5 units are like on the same level of like 5 clouds, then you wouldn't drop 1 cloud. But if it's like Cloud, Aaron, Clive, and then like number 5 is I don't know some guy from 4 months ago, like you bring in the Water Lastwell or something, then you definitely drop that you definitely
yeah.
drop that like second tier DPS for the 250 killer unit.
True. True. Yeah. I guess it all comes down to the nitty gritty of mathing, like what's the best possible outcome. I'm usually kind of lazy, and I go like, oh, this covers it. It's a DPS. He's coming. Like, I was never a fan of needing to bring a unit for the killers, even though it was a big jump in damage. It kind of felt like a dead slot, and that's what I didn't like. So I'm happy they're giving it to more units to try and like bring some diversity to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Anyway, going on, he also has a field for Imperil, Fire, Ice, and Water, 40%. So that's pretty good. Just kind of sad that we just had Titas that had a field as well. Um, so if you want to bring an FF10 team, you're just going to use Titus's because he covers more elements. But there's fire here that's different. So if you're going to cover with a fire team, then that's great. Then he has a cooldown here for a lot of buffs. So 300% to all stats, a bear for 10k, and 50% to all mitigations. Um, it's not crazy, but it's nice. Like we had Celeste before with 75, so this feels unimpressive, but still, it's there and it's nice. And he has mitigations for fairies and reapers. Now I don't know why they didn't give him Beast like they gave him Beast there, so that's kind of funny, but like, yeah, like, is it just me? Did you think that was weird?
That seems to be more for the series boss battle
Hmm.
because Jecht is a fairy. the
True.
Brassica Final Aeon, he's a fairy. So
True. Did you just call sorry, did you just call Jecht a fairy?
I mean, that's his race in the game. I didn't make that decision. I didn't choose that.
I couldn't help it. And I guess the Reapers for Unalesca. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
All right, and then keeping on, he has. Okay, this one might be controversial, but I don't like this one here. Fire, Ice, Water, 116 barrel for 2 turns. Well, I guess it's an effective 3 turns, so it's not too bad. So this part's okay. Katana resistance 40%. That's nice. But here, the 87% break. Why did they give him 87% when, especially in FF10, he was a dedicated breaker? And then you get Titus before him, like literally 10 days before, that has an 89% break. Why?
So the break thing, completely on board with. The break is unfortunate, but I was actually really happy to see the first two parts, the
Yeah,
160 Imperil and the 40 Weapon Imperil, on a 2-turn cooldown with a 3-turn effective duration. I think that is amazing because I'm so sick to death of all these units lately having one use of the Weapon Imperil when you've got like multi-stage trials or 20-turn SBB battles, and like one turn we get the 50 and then we get like the rest of the fight at 25. That's so garbage. Now his is only 40 because that's how JP does. They go lower, and I'm sure like in 3 weeks it's gonna be 50 permanent uptime. But from the newer units,
yeah.
but still like 40 for the entire fight forever versus 50 for one turn on a trial content. I'd much rather have this one.
Agreed. Yeah, that part is very useful. That is true. And
But the
then
breaks are bad.
yes, just well, I mean, he does have attack and magic 87, which is more than I guess Titus has. So there's that, but meh, he's not gonna be your breaker for sure. And then he has this. I'm gonna call this just a flavor ability. So resistance to blind, sleep, confuse, disease, and stop for 3 turns to everyone. So it's nice, but that's probably not gonna be your entire coverage you're gonna need. It's just it's just cool that he's protected against blind because he's wearing sunglasses, I guess.
Yes.
um, but like, what do you think about that? Like, do you think it's good or just a flavor ability?
The status effects are kind of, I mean, confuse is a really important one. So that's, and I guess sleep is too,
Yeah.
technically. So those are good. But for me, the stop was kind of nice because I have noticed, especially when I need stop resist on the party, JP does not add many units with AoE stop buff. Like I'm always having to use that dumb Lakshmi buff.
Hmm.
So having this on a multicast, not wasting an entire unit's turn, I'm not stuck putting them on a bad Esper. Like that's pretty hype that JP is finally given more units with AoE stop resistance.
True, true. We need more of those. Like whenever I need stop resist, if it's for a trial, I'm just gonna bring Dark Lineage Fina. She's my go-to unit when I need MP, when I need status ailment protection. She's there. Like I don't care wasting a slot for her. She's good. But yeah, it's true. Like to have him for, especially for say the Abyss. Sometimes the bosses have those shenanigans, so you can cover for that. Pretty nice. Now for his passives, classic 6 races, covered 200%. Unlike Riku, they gave him the relevant killers for his killers that he could his active killers he can give. So Beast, Reapers, and also fairies, I guess that he covers with the mitigation. So that's nice. Some MP regen, and the rest, just pretty standard. And if you wanted to go with a counter build because of of his STMR, well, his regular attack is just what everyone has, so nothing great. He is a 1250 leader for Final Fantasy X and 1000% for fire units. So that's pretty cool, like a 1250 and 1000. I thought there weren't too many of those, but apparently Celeste also had, and I forgot. Are
Oh
there any
yeah.
other ones?
For fire, you mean, or for
No,
series?
a 1250 and 1000, like for two
Oh,
different
in the
categories.
same unit.
Yeah.
Oh, I Riku maybe, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Um,
I remember she was 1250 for Battle Maidens, but
yeah. For Thunder, I think she's 750. Is she? Well,
she could be. I couldn't tell you.
we'll look
Forgot.
after. And then his SLB, with the modifiers and everything goes to 1100. So that's, Cloud level of damage. Very good. But like Cloud, it's not a chaining one, so just 5 hits. But he's also non-elemental, so that's very useful, very good. You can just imbue him with whatever you want, and then he can benefit from the 150 AoE amp. That's a Tius would give. So overall, a good unit, but not like nothing meta defining. He's not changing the game. So I'm not really gonna pull for him. I'll keep throwing my Lapis at Tidus's banner and hope to get a copy of him on my main account. What about you?
Yeah, for me, he's like, I'm sure he's going to be in the top teams for Dark Vision's Abyss. It's just I don't see him bringing anything special for the teams that I'm currently using on JP. The kit, it's got a few cool tricks in it, but nothing mind blowing. It's overall a little generic to me. He's not a bad kit or anything. He's a good unit. Like if I got him off banner, I'd be thrilled. But it's just like I'm not even doing his first row on the step up. It's just he's not getting anything from me, nothing at all.
That's good. Keep your endless stash of Lapis.
Hey, it's gone below 500,000 at this point. I went 75K for Titus just to get in the Dark Vision's Abyss, and in hindsight, I probably didn't have to do that.
No, you didn't. Honestly, you didn't have it all because my main account, I think I was 1800 or something, and I don't have Tidus on that account. Like I used a janky team with oh my god, what did I use? I was using Celeste, Terra. Oh my god, I don't remember. I really anyway, it wasn't a really good team, and it still made it through. So I'm happy. Now on to the next one. So Braska, well, they called him Braska's Ultimate Summon, but that's the literal translation of his Japanese name there. But the global name is Braska's Final Aeon. He is Dark category.
Just to interrupt briefly, do you remember? I should, because I just played it. Do you remember what do they call him in the actual Final Fantasy X in the voice acting? Do they call it Ultimate or Final Aeon?
It is Braska's Final Aeon. Yeah.
So they actually call him that in game. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the name. When you try to attack him, that's the name that you see.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm like doesn't work. The source is the original game, not Final Fantasy Brave Exvius here. So, but anyway, who cares? So his categories are Dark, FF10, SBB rewards, so the free units, Guardians as well, because at first he was Braska's Guardian, so that is true, and also Sword Masters because, in case you hadn't noticed, he is wielding a gigantic sword. But
you see, I kind of disagree with this. I feel like he shouldn't have Guardians and he should have Evocation because he's not really Jecht anymore. This is not the Jecht unit we're getting. This is the Esper form that Yu Yevon summoned, right? So I feel like the Guardian is out of place and he should definitely have Evocation as a category, in my opinion.
I agree that he should have Evocation, but I'm going to say counter argument. I still think he needs to have Guardians because the very reason he is an Aeon now is because he was a Guardian to begin with.
Makes sense. True.
The other thing, though, that he is missing and that I think is kind of sad is he doesn't have the Chaos Bringer. And I kind of understand he wasn't the one, wanting to destroy the world. It was Yu Yevon that was controlling him through sin and all, but still, like all the other SBB's unit, they all have it. So why doesn't he have it to go and fit with the team? Kind of unfortunate.
True, but like, what team do they even use that as mission requirements anymore?
No, they haven't used it in a while, and now that we could finally actually do something with it. Because, like with Kefka and Cloud of Darkness and Jecht on it as well, it would have fit very well. So you'd have a potent dark team there with Bismarck leading them. That would have been good. Anyway, his Team R kind of sucks. It's just for him. So 500 flat attack, 50% LB damage, and 100% true double hand. So it's basically a little better than Arn's TMR, but only for him. So who cares? And his STMR is basically the same as all the other SBB units, except it's giving attack and HP, but it's the usual 3% to all elements. Like it's always been elemental resistance, right?
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's like wasting material slots for this just to trigger the trust ability. He does have when you get him to EX3, 500 flat attack for Final Fantasy X category. So go get it for your Tidus if you don't have a Guardians one or you want to give the Guardians one to Tifa. Now going down, he does have 3% dark resist because he's a dark unit. He doesn't have any other elements as we mentioned earlier, which is kind of unfortunate. He can use swords, great swords, axes for some reason, and throwing weapons for. Well, I guess he can throw a blitzball, right? So that's a throwing weapon.
Yeah, blitzball for sure.
But the axe is it's a curveball. And then in terms of his ability, he's going to unlock some stuff at EX2, nothing at EX1, so the 500% LB damage. He gets also a mud buff for all his abilities at EX2, and also he can fill the evocation gauge, but he's not an evocation unit. Let's remember. He can also get a 5-stack evade, which is kind of nice. And at EX3, he get this kind of worthless buff. 350, I guess it's nice to anyone except himself.
That buff is pretty awesome, dude. That's one of my favorite skills in his kit.
Well, the one thing I like about it is this.
Exactly. Yes, that can entrust any unit and fill their OB gauge instantly, which I really like that. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's once per 10 turns, so it's good for that part, but the rest is kind of forgettable. And it doesn't cost his own LB as well, so that's pretty nice for that. So you're just gonna give Tidus another round so he can keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. He's encouraging his son. So then the rest, the standard as usual. His non-elemental chaining, for example, if we take the mod buff here from his EX2, that would be an extra 450. So it's forgettable. Like about 7,000 overall. So really not up to par with the other non-elemental chains. But he's a free unit, so we can just not complain and take it. He's got 87 breaks for defense and spirits, so once again forgettable. 25% accuracy debuff. That can help sometimes when the bosses have accuracy, as we've seen with the previous Dark Visions. For people who brought Claude to the fight, because he had that 50%, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that might come in handy at some point. He can selfishly clean his own status ailment and fill his LB a little bit as well, so that's kind of nice. He can give 200% Fairy Killer to himself and someone as well. And the other is pretty much the same buff, but 300% and without filling the LB here. And he has, and that's the interesting part of his kit, 50% Dark Imperil Field. I think he's the first one, right?
Yep, he is the first one to go above 40 in Dark.
So now we can have 250 Imperil with Dark if we're using Bismarck. So that's pretty nice, and it pairs well with Cloud of Darkness. It was Kefka with the 70, right? Yeah, Kefka.
So yeah, Kefka or Lulu.
Yeah, Lulu. True. How could I forget? And then for the rest of his kit, the regular 6 killers and everything is basically just the same. But he has this thing that the SBB units have all had, which is the beginning of the fight 300% stat buff for himself that will stay for the entire fight. He's not a mage, so he doesn't get focus every turn or anything, but he has that anyway. And he has increased NP by 100% on ability. Cute. I don't know if it gives him enough to survive his own MP drain. We're going to talk about that later. And then his SLB is 800 times, so that's 1,020 with the buffs, which is, it's good. It's very good for a free unit, but just not
but
on
not
par with the good
chaining.
ones. Yeah, and not chaining as well. True.
Makes me
Now,
sad.
yeah, got me wondering though. Do you think the 5 hits will line up with Orin's?
If you mouse over
Ah,
the five, it'll tell you specifically. Oh God, that's very slow. That's very slow. You got to send him way quicker than everybody else, and to
oh,
wait.
what was Orin's? Oh,
Uh,
he's even
oh
worse.
my lord, you got to send him like a round in advance.
Sorry, tomorrow I'll come back to send the rest of my units.
That's so slow.
And then finally, for the third unit, we have Black Flame Hio, who got an NVA plus. So not much to say about him. Let's just go over what they gave him because he also got EX abilities. Just a quick reminder: the EX abilities are those abilities when you get overflow shards after EX3. So the Dark Vision's Abyss this time around is giving another copy of him and shards as well for the placements to give you a chance to go and get those nice buffs for that great unit. So the first one is giving him the classic 500% LB buff, which is nice, but it's not going to give him any meta relevance. And then the other one here, which is what pulls him on top of the other evokers. Just saying, like, not saying he's going to be good, just better than the other evokers. So a 100% fire self amp, the 150 evoke damage like Penelo or Yuna would give, and a 50 times LB modifier for his evoke LB. So that's off the charts.
So you need not only EX3 of this unit, you also have to get like 20 more copies beyond that to get all these buffs. It smells like whale content.
Yeah, whale content to get a total of 220 evoke modifier buff. Sorry, not modifier in the end. So, like, it's not even on par with the meta. It's ridiculous, but it's better than evoker and Yuna. So, he also gets some flat stats and evoke magic stats here as an EX bonus as well. If you do end
Nice.
up getting them from the gacha, as you said. And here, yeah, so he gets the same as everyone, so that 90 times modifier for the fire evoke. So it's a joke, it's laughable, but it's better than Evoker and Yuna, and I will die on that hill.
I mean, it is. It is.
But like, we're never gonna bring him anywhere for that. That's pretty sure. It's so sad the Evokers have been done so dirty. And it's also even sadder because that I have to admit, Evokers are my favorite class in all of Final Fantasy, and they're so useless in Brave Exvius.
Really? I've never really gone for the evokers in the classic games. I mean, I
No?
guess I used Unit in 10. I guess in that one I did because you could control the invokers, but
Okay.
like the overcosted slow summoning time for like one hit when I could have just normal attacked 3 times in the time it took to summon one Ifrit or whatever, like it's just they're not worth using in most games.
I,
Depends on the game, I guess.
I feel like you never summoned Eden in Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, I know. Yeah, so that well, I guess that one did have the tactical advantage of with the auto regen, it could full heal your team because it took like 20 minutes to summon. You'd auto regen to full during the animation.
Oh, I never thought about
So,
that.
seriously, that was actually a pretty popular tactic for Ozma.
Wow.
Is you party up because yeah, the animation is so long, but auto regen keeps ticking during it. So it's a full heal for your party.
Wait, you said Ozma. Ozma is Final Fantasy 9 there, though.
Oh, which one? Which one do you talk about?
I was talking about 8. Eden, like that one that lasts like 10 minutes.
Oh, that's another game where they're just like so not worth using.
I know. Most people say that, and I was just lazy and just always summoning so they could, like, when you're summoning them, they're taking the damage for you. And basically, me playing FF8 was me mashing the square button to boost the damage.
Me playing 8 was spending 3 hours at the start playing cards, and then the entire rest of the game was all one shot
I
because you're so overpowered.
That is true. Once I discovered you could, change the cards and materials and get super strong, I did that too, though. That is very true. All right, moving on with the rest of the updates. So we have Phase 1 of Unalesca, yeah, that's Phase 1,
Mhm.
that you did recently and passed with flying colors. So that's the raid event that you're going to go and farm for. The raid events are just jokes to farm now, so that's great. You can go and get these very old accessories that have been given before, so you can go and get another copy because they were in another event, like from Final Fantasy X-2, which is totally the game that they're promoting right now, right? Anyway,
Uh,
it's some elemental resistance here, and I think some magic evade on this one. It's nothing really, really good. Um, and that's about it for the raid. And if we go here, this is the weapon quest where you can go and craft this materia here. That's a 60% attack power for Guardian category. And you go and fight Unaleska third phase there. I didn't really do her yet, but I did notice that she will use that zombie and then heal you in the fight. So I thought it was pretty cool that they did that.
oh, that's kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if she does full life or anything. I'll see when I go and bash my head against that wall later. But until the third fight, she was, like you just buff once and you kill her and it's easy. So we'll see. And also, like I know it's not really relevant or anything, but when I saw the name of the event, I just knew it was her because Mayakashi no Kibo is illusion of hope. So because she was the one giving the illusion of hope to the summoners of Spira.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I thought it was a good name for the event. Now, next one, we have the Awakened SBB for Jecht, Braska's Final Aeon. So that big chunky dude over there. They actually didn't change the fight much from what I've read.
Oh, they did. They
Well,
definitely did. I tried it very briefly just to get a taste for it. It's
uh
very changed.
really? Well, I mean, his damage, like the attack rotation he's doing, pretty much the same, no?
Well, the rotation is the same, but they
Yeah.
added an evasion field,
Yeah.
an evasion down field, so you can't use evasion.
hmm
And they also added ailment and perils to his little dispel and status effect thing.
Yeah, the
So
Jecht beam.
you cannot resist them. In the previous fight, you could literally be immune to him with like one unit,
hmm
and nothing would happen. They totally removed the ways to make yourself immune to this fight. So you have to bring a tank for this fight,
And they
or I guess like red using 10 stack Mirage would work, but he's still tanking it. The point is, you have to bring a dedicated tank now.
My goodness, did anyone ever? No, no, don't answer that. But they also gave him MP drain. I think every like the first turn, second turn of his rotation, he's gonna MP drain. Then third turn, he's just gonna do his big slash, and then he's gonna drain again. So did it get problematic? Well, you didn't really try it yet, did you? Yeah.
I didn't even try. The only thing I did was I went in there and just tested if you could still completely immune him, and found out very quickly that no, they added ways to block that.
hmm
The MP drain, I can't say with authority because I haven't really done a serious attempt, but I'm predicting it's going to be totally fine. MP drain is something that people very often completely lose their mind about and think it's like so devastating, but it's so easy to fix with the proper gear. Like it's really easy to fix. A boss that drains you to zero every single turn can be very easily fixed with the right gear. So I'm not predicting that's going to be a problem, but I could be totally talking out my other side. We'll see.
Well, it's true though that with the proper gear you can get MP at the beginning of every turn. I can we get more than one of that Moogle TMR? Because I
Oh
don't
yeah, yeah.
have one. Yeah.
You can buy them at the Star Wars shop. So just go nuts.
I'll go and do that. Yeah, I'll go throw my Kupo nuts to the wall, and I'll go I'll go and buy this because I keep complaining when there is an MP drain. I hate MP drain. And I didn't even play Global back when Haskell was something, and she was draining the MP out of everyone for the Halloween fights. So, if you want to go and get the fragments for him and the pearls, you need to get a clear with Final Fantasy X units on both difficulties. You need to do it in under 12 turns. You need to do it with a fire, a thunder team, and I forgot what was the third one. Uh,
So can I just take a moment to totally complain about the idiocy of this guy's design.
Oh yeah, sure, of course. Because there's something I wanted to talk about as well for him. Yeah.
So they made him basically only doable with fire. Like you can
Yes.
use other elements, but fire is negative 150, and he's in the green for all other seven.
Yep.
That is such a BS move when they just sold you Titus and Riku, and neither one has any kind of fire support in their kit, right? Titus doesn't, right?
No, they don't at all. And the worst part is, someone brought it up in the Discord. No one in Final Fantasy X can imbue fire, so you're gonna need to use fire
Oh,
weapons
great.
on your team, or you're gonna need to bring someone from another game to imbue, or you're just gonna have to go with water and deal a lot less damage and do like 27 turn clears.
Yeah, and when we say a lot less damage, like it can't be overstated. From negative 150 to plus 25, that's a 175% difference
Mhm.
in resistance. That is astronomical. It's like not even it's so dumb. Why did they do this? And it's like Aaron is fire, sure, I get that, but he can't carry this all on his own.
No,
It's just
he won't be that strong because like
it's gonna be
that
tedious. Exactly, it's gonna be
yeah,
like a 30 turn clear when you're doing the Final Fantasy 10 state. Like I
yeah.
don't feel like doing that. I'm gonna have to. It's irritating. Why do they irritate their customers like that? It serves no purpose but to annoy everyone.
I think they saw that Kefka, because I mean, from what I've seen, Kefka has been done very fast by mostly everyone. He was kind of easier, but at least didn't have any cheese strats as opposed to others before.
So
So they wanted to make this one thicker.
raise the defense,
That
raise the HP, but don't just like shut off the units you just sold people.
I agree, though. It's true, but they did also increase the stats. So they overdid it. They increased the stats completely. Like he is, what is it, 93 billion HP he has, and I think 60 million or billion defense. Anyway, he is thick. That is a wall. So when you go and fight him, you need to equip yourself with a lot of patience. I'll
Crazy.
probably try a little later tonight and see if I can get any results. I'll go and copy probably the clear that I've seen on Discord and see if I can make it work. But for the Final Fantasy X clear, I'm not there yet.
It's just gonna be like a slog.
hmm And then lastly, we have Dark Visions Abyss that started yesterday as well. As I said earlier, to give us more copies of Black Flame Hero. And the bosses for this time are a beast, which is the Master Curl. And this one goes very well with, Tidus and Riku with the elements. So that's nice. And then the other one, I don't know how to call that boss. Kauna Cunning Gas, whatever. And then the elemental resistance are garbage for this one. I like, I know they went like, okay, 50% to half of them in one and 50% to the other half in the other one, but fire, wind, earth, and dark.
Well, for me, fire should be okay. Because this is not like Final Fantasy X locked. Fire is
No, no.
fine when you can use whatever you want. So like for me, Cloud, Scarlet Rain, um, what's the other
Tifa.
one? Vaughn for the big
Yeah.
imperil. Like I've
Oh yeah.
got a competent fire party. It's not nearly as good as my new water party, but I'm okay with this one.
Well, I mean, this one is basically you have to use fire. Is basically
Hmm.
what I mean. Um, or else you want to bring like a dying dark party, an inexistent wind party, and a collaboration earth party if ever you had some. So like the only thing you can do is basically bring fire with
Yeah.
Cloud, Tifa, Rain, as you said,
Terra
Terra, no, not Titus, never mind. Um, Auron,
is
Auron.
is Onion Knight fire? I don't
No,
remember.
no, he's not. He
Oh,
would be wind though.
oh yeah. Well, I guess you could mix elements.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, if you have field that will support it, you can. Uh,
Okay,
but
I might do that.
I will probably just basically beat the boss in 10 turns and call it a day. Because my fire team Well, I guess I do have Cloud and Tifa, so it's not that bad.
So the thing is though, in Dark Vision's Abyss, honestly speaking, like the ranking doesn't even matter. It's just for
No,
fun.
you're
So
right.
like if you don't have a good party for this, really don't stress out about it. Just like you say, do it in 10 turns and who cares, and have fun on the other boss.
That is true. That is true. I'm gonna go ham on the other one. And yeah, just go and get the clear rewards basically. And the clear rewards, there are some pearls to awaken Hio, so you don't need to go and grind them anywhere or like wait multiple cycles of dark visions before you can get them. So that's nice. Good on them. Congratulations, Alan. And so yeah, that covers it for. Oh yeah, and I just want to mention this one's a beast. The Curl's a beast, and this one is a an undead. By the way, so to go with
and
Arn's killers.
and the Quirrell fight as well is also a multi-enemy fight too.
Oh really? Oh, he's summoning ads.
Summoning babies. Yep.
There was another fight that did that. Was it a couple of years ago? I think I remember it was a curl as well.
Yeah, the one that global where because we overflowed the
Oh
damage, it
yes!
caused a big humbug.
Oh yes, I remember. Oh, that was amazing. I love that. Global with all the bugs. Honestly, best thing ever. It,
I mean, that one like sorta was the beginning of Global's death because that's when it went like through like 3 rounds of cheaters because first it was glitched,
oh yes.
they reset everyone. Then it came back, people were using the 7 unit glitch, and
Hmm.
because they'd already done the big reset, Gumi said, "Whatever, we're moving on. We're gonna let them keep their scores."
Hmm.
And a bunch of cheaters kept their rank 1 rewards, and the actual whales got furious, and lots of them quit. And a lot of others just checked out of the game and didn't care anymore. And that's like when it started going really downhill, is because of their decision on how they handled that.
So what I hear right now is the curl just used blaster and killed the game.
Oh, pretty much.
Yeah, it's true though. That probably impacted the game a lot. And yeah, like probably the straw that broke the camel's back. Is that what we say? Was the Facebook reward debacle.
I don't honestly think that was that big. A lot of people call that because they gave out, was it 28K Lapis? That's like half of one banner. That really was not very impactful. I think that was like a drop in the bucket. I think stuff like the Dark Visions problem was a much bigger problem because like if you were in Discord, like a lot of well-known people that was dropping thousands of dollars a week on the game, they were like really tilted
Mhm.
that because the reason they spent all that is for the prestige of getting those high ranks. And when
Yeah.
Gumi just let cheaters keep it and blocked all the actual players, like it was handled very poorly on
Yeah.
the game's end.
Yeah, and I mean, like there's been multiple times where there's been weird decisions after that as well. Well, all the Berserker Riku, all the complaints about that unit, which I had never gotten until after she was nerfed. That's so sad. I wish I could have done it at least once. I could never have fun. And she was just there taunting me on JP, like being completely useless.
Oh, I know.
All right, so I think that's it for this week's update. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Not really. I guess give me your prediction on the content in 10 days. That's usually
Oh,
collaboration or story. You think it's gonna be like more season 4, or is it collaboration time?
I think they're gonna. Oh wait, when's anniversary? It's next
Oh, I have
month,
no
right?
idea.
I think JP's
Yeah.
anniversary is next month.
I thought it
Uh,
was in October.
oh,
Am
it's
I
in
am I
October. Okay,
totally off?
well, is it August? Oh, they start sending stuff in August, and then the anniversary is in October. I think you're right.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Well, because I think they might want to end season 4 with a bang and do like a big ban or something. Um, and I honestly haven't followed the story to know if there is any conclusion to it right now, or if there's still something coming. Um,
It's not really a spoiler, but they ended the previous story update like seconds before the obvious final battle. So the final
okay,
battle will start on the next story update.
okay, and they might draw it out for a couple of weeks.
That is entirely possible.
All right. Well, I think a season 4 banner would actually make sense because it's been a while since we last had any FFBE units. Um, but otherwise, I think that 13 is probably coming soon. I've been calling it for a while, and
Oh God,
always I've always been wrong, but who knows? or
please
uh,
no.
or else they might go with FF9 to try and bring wind back. Just not to give you Barts.
I, I hate you.
And what do you think it's going to be?
Um, I think it's probably going to be season 4.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking in my head though, like who would the unit be? Like I can't think of anyone because the only ones that don't already have a unit are like really minor side characters who they're not going to feature for the finale of the season.
Hmm.
Or I guess like the villain, but that'd be a weird unit for the finale. So I cannot. Otherwise, like maybe it's going to be like I don't know a duo Rain and Tyvis unit or something, which maybe,
Eh.
maybe.
Eh. It won't sell for me anyway, but um, I don't know. I don't know if Nelica is still in the story, but I feel like she's been neglected lately.
She is, but again, like that's she's more of a side character at this point.
Okay.
So like I can't see like Nelica being the feature finale unit. I just can't see it.
Okay. And what about maybe giving a new Van Harma or spoiler, whatever his other name is? I'm not gonna say. Um,
Um, I don't think so because again, their storyline is kind of peaked and faded at this point. So again,
okay.
they're now more of a side character. Like the finale is mostly about the primaries, like
Yeah.
Rain, Fina, and I think Roka as well. So actually,
Oh.
Roka could. I don't want to spoil why, but it's very possible Roka swoops in out of nowhere and becomes like a big deal based on how the last update ended.
Okay.
So that wouldn't surprise me too much if Roka, like a new Roka, came in. But we've had so many Rokas too. Oh God, I hope
No,
not.
we have like three Rokas. That's not that much. Count how many
Yeah,
Finas we have.
true, very true.
And come to think of it, have we had any Fina in season 4?
Um, I guess the Esper of Destruction Fina doesn't count, huh?
No.
So and Dark Fina, that was actually also Esper of Destruction, no.
Yeah.
So I guess not. No, we really haven't.
It's time for a new Fina because we're all playing Fina's fantasy.
Well, she is very much part of that final battle, so it could happen.
I think we just put the finger on it. All right, so let's see in 10 days what happens, and we can laugh about how wrong or right we were.
We'll see.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me again, and see you everyone next time.
See you later.
Bye.